All right, so we are going to start our study today, and we're going to start with a pray. Let's everybody close our eyes. Elevate our thoughts, our heart, our spirit. And first of all, let's be grateful for the opportunity to be here among friends, the opportunity to be here to learn, to embrace this moment with our soul. Let's be thankful for all the good spirits that are here today. They came to study with us, to protect this meeting. Let's be thankful for all the mentors of this work and put our heart towards God, Jesus, and always thinking about it, all the brothers and sisters that couldn't make it today, or all those that are suffering in pain, they're having suicide thoughts, the ones that think this life is just one, all the incarnated and disincarnated spirits suffering at this moment. Let's put our hearts and think about them. And one more time, I ask for the permission to all the mentors that are here today to start this meeting, and so be it. Fran, you are here. There we go. Oh, maybe that's the friend that I'm thinking about, right? Hopefully it is okay. All right, so let's start. Okay, doc. Fran, yeah, she's like, all right, so she's saying hi. As you know, this meeting over here is in English, and it can engage this meeting. So if you don't want to read the questions because your first time here, just let me know here on the message too over here in the chat actually, because everyone read a question and comment. But since it's our first time, so if you just want to watch it, it's okay. Okay, just let me know. All right, so I'm gonna share the screen. Share. Where is it? There we go. I believe that we stopped on question 41. So I'm gonna read it again. Probably we didn't read it because when I highlight the question, it means that we have to start from here. We are finishing this part and I'm gonna start creation of living beings. So question 41, can a completely formed world disappear and have its matter then be distributed throughout space? Means that if God's one just makes something disappear in the space, it's possible to disappear. It's like not destroy anything, but renovating things. And
I was gonna ask you if you can just go back to the last page so we can just see the last question that it was. So we
was 40.
Yeah, no, just so I can refresh my mind of what we.
Oh, okay. So we were talking about the creation of the world, the things that starting first. I think this here, creation of the world.
Okay.
Chapter 3. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And though regarding this question 41, the answer is yes. God renews world just as living beings are renewed. Means that yes, God can does that. It's possible. So, any questions, comments on this?
So I think this has to do with like renovation. I mean, like, just like it says, is renovation, right? It's probably what happened back with the dinosaur.
Samantha, I don't know what's going on, but I can hear you.
Sorry.
There you go.
So I think it has. I mean, it has to do with the renovation, right? So like the dinosaurs had a beginning and the end. So we're talking about thousands and thousands of hundreds and thousands of years ago, but that everything has a beginning, transition, and then the end, and the renovation has to happen. Hopefully, in 100,000 and thousands of years from now, not now.
Yeah, we are in constant renovation, actually. Everything's changed. Of course, a matter of time when the scientists talking about the sun, that is a star, and as a star, it has the beginning, the middle, and the end. And as far as we know, when the stars die, it's ended up to be a black hole, right? As far as we know. So, but it's from, if we start thinking about it, if this math is right, which we don't know, but it's going to be in 1,000 years, thousand and thousand of thousands, in a 1,000 years, but 1,000 and thousand of years from now. But I believe that's the point when you're talking about renovating. It doesn't mean that it's going to just destroy or disappear, but it has a meaning, as we said, Samantha, like we are all in constant renovation. All right, so can you read 42, Samantha?
Can we know the length of time required to create worlds, Earth, for instance? I cannot answer this question because only the Creator knows. The person who claims to possess such knowledge or knowing how many centuries were required for such formation would be foolish. So it's what we said now. We don't know when. Everything has a process, right? And it's hundreds and thousands of years, but nobody knows exactly. And then renovation might be happening right now. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that the world is gonna start from scratch again. It's happening as we speak.
True, as we see the climates change and all those things that you see in nature's change. And of course, human beings has a part on this role. I mean, a bad part on this role,
Yeah.
but as nature, everything's changed. You know, it's something natural from the nature. But it's a nice question because science tells us an average 4.5 billion years, right? If I'm not wrong, for like the theory of the Big Bang and everything. And the Spirit says here, I cannot answer this question because only the Creator knows. Means you guys are wrong. Whatever math are you doing, you're not going to be able for now to get this answer because the lack of knowledge is still out there. And for now, no. And of course, they are clear. Only the Creator knows. And the last part is to possess such knowledge or knowing how many centuries were required for such formation would be foolish. Don't try it. Of course, as the science evolve, we can get like better answers, but like the accurate answer, I don't think so. Yeah, it's gonna take like a while. All right, so Lolo, can you start 43, the creation of living beings?
Creation of living beings. When did the population of the earth first begin? In the beginning, there was only chaos. The elements were in a state of confusion, but they gradually settled into their proper places. Once this happened, living beings capable of adapting to the various successive states of the planet appeared accordingly. Wait a second, let me understand better. Well, yeah, I think kind of like it's some kind of information that we know already. I believe it, that like everything has to settle down, so then like, you know, everything can adapt gradually, you know. So it's something that like we know already, so that's the information that they passed to Kardec. So
Yeah, I believe when Kardec asked this question, he was looking for something else.
yeah, probably.
We kind of know, I mean, by the time, I don't know if they knew this already, probably. But we know this, like we go to school and learn this, but the Kardec is looking for something else, more specific things. And it's nice when you start, if you pay attention to the questions, he goes to one question, but he tries to make another similar question to go deep, since he already has the answer. Because he started with the world, and then he started with like the first beings. So, but yeah, in the beginning, there was only chaos and those kind of things and blah, 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 the things I already know. And as the living beings, I mean, as the earth was evolved, the living beings were capable to adapt into the environment and starting creating things from like the seas and water and earth and those other things. I believe that's we know already so far. All right, so Samantha. No, actually myself. Okay, 44. From where did the living beings of Earth originate? That's a good question too. And the answer is very poetic, but it's true. The seeds were contained in the earth itself, out of the earth itself, in the earth and out it, awaiting the opportune moment for their development. Organic principles came together once the force that kept them apart was broken. Those principles formed the seeds of all the living beings that populated the earth. Those seeds remain dormant, like the seeds of plants, until the arrival of the right moment to the birth of each species. The member of each species came together and then multiplied. This is something that kind of we know already in another point of view. As it says, the beings, there was only chaos, but the element was the state of confusion. And from where they came from. So one part of the question is there, the earth contained itself, it was prepared already, biologic saying. And when was the right time, everything started getting the body and everything started playing their own role on the earth.
Well, this is just another affirmation that everything happens in the right time. Nothing happens before or after, because when he compares, you know, like the seeds of plants, if you try to plant a seed when it's not the right season, it's not going to grow. It's going to die. Doesn't matter how many seeds you plant. So I think it's nice the way that they explain this. Is a way for us to understand. They're not going too complicated. They're pretty much going on a dummy way, so we can kind of understand it in a big picture, right?
It's so true. That's nice that you said that, because sometimes when I start thinking about it, what Jesus did in his time, at his time, he's trying to take example from the environment, the culture that he was living by the time. When you read now those explanations, it's kind of like what he was trying to say, but for them was like used to understand. And that's what I'm thinking when the spirits came to Kardec, so let them explain with the words that you know and the easiest way possible. Yeah, I think that was the idea. Because you guys still don't. Okay, that was like 150 years, more than 150 years ago. So, but it's still learn. And what you said, someone, that's going to be the next question. So can you read it, please?
But you know what? Even though it was 150 years ago, I kind of feel like people from back then, they were more culto, como é que fala? More, not intelligent, but they look for,
Knowledgeable? Knowledgeable?
because today nobody reads anything else. People don't read books, people don't study. So we just need something and we go on Google. So I feel like back then there was more intelligence conversation just because.
It's true, because I think like when the philosophy thing get a place on the earth, there was the moment that everybody were talking about it, deep things.
Yeah.
Now I believe now we have the eyes on technology, you know, on those kind of things. That is another deep things as well, but it's different the way that we approach things nowadays. As you said, so back then you have to go to the libraries, you study like for hours and hours, a lot of books if you want to know a simple thing.
Yeah.
Today you just Google.
Mm-hmm.
You Google it and that's it. And that's going to be the same probably answers. But even this, I think people get lazy to learn, to really understand things. Like, do you know what you're talking about? It first go there before everything, go there and go find the answers, you know.
Yeah.
As like Haroldo Dutra said. So when they asked them about, oh, but don't you think that now you have to put the books in the easiest words, things that is going to relate it to nowadays in order to young people to understand? He said, actually, no. What we have to do is explain it, study and explain it. Because basically is, can you just summarize everything and explain me? I don't have time. You know what I mean? People don't go take the effort to go there and learn, I think. Okay, can you read 45, please?
Yeah. Where were the organic elements before the formation of the earth? They existed in the fluid state in space with the spirits or on other planets, awaiting the creation of earth to begin a new life in a new world. Should I read this now?
Yeah, this is the Kardec explanation.
Chemistry shows us the molecules of inorganic bodies merging to produce invariable crystals for each species, once the conditions are ripe for their combination. The slightest disturbance of those conditions can block the union of material elements, or at least prevent the methodical arrangement of the latter which constitutes the crystal. Is that a reason why the same process cannot take place among organic elements? We preserve the seeds of plants and animals for years, which are then only born at a certain temperature and under certain conditions. Wheat seeds have been known to sprout after centuries. These demonstrate that there is a dormant principle of vitality in seeds, which awaits favorable circumstances to develop. It is not possible then that which takes place right before our eyes every day also has taken place at the birth of our planet. Does this creation of living beings by the forces of nature amidst chaos detract in any way from the awe-inspiring power and glory of God? Quite the opposite, in fact. The interpretation of creation presented by us is more consistent than any other with our sense of God exerting power over all the worlds of infinity through eternal laws. This theory does not resolve the origin of vital elements, but God has mysteries and has put limits on our investigations. Oh my gosh, I need to read this again. Can you explain? Did you?
No. It's basically, I had to read in Portuguese too, but it's basically he's just like giving examples that I already have. And one great example, it's like, as you said, everything has their own time to happen in nature. and it's not going to be different.
Oh, I get it now. Okay.
Yeah, it's not going to be different. So when they put it like here, animals for each year, the only certain wheat seeds have been known, as you said, wheat seeds have been known to support after after centuries. So even have the seed, but there's no right moment, the right weather, the right soil, or things like that, that's not going to happen because nature is intelligent. You know?
Can you go up a little bit? I just want to read the question one more time.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it now. I understand. Okay.
And they are said that the fluid, they exist in the fluid state in the space of the spirits on other planets. So they brought to us, awaiting the creation of Earth to begin a new life in a new world, where does everything started. And then he were like, give an example here, things that we have already. And then he's doing the comparison, like you don't have the seeds that I have to wait for the right time, you know, to sprout, to grow, blooming, those kind of things. So that's not going to be different in the beginning. It's basically that. But yes, Kardec's like just put it like word by word in order to everybody understand. But there is the good part is that this theory does not resolve the origin of vital elements, because he wants to know about the vital element. But the Spirit says God has mysteries and has put limits on your investigations. All right, so 46, Lolo.
Wait. Oh, can you go up a little bit? Oh, never mind. I zoom up my thing. That's why. So, are any living beings born spontaneously? Yes, but the original seeds already existed in a dormant state. You witness this phenomenon on a daily basis. For instance, the tissues of the human body and animals contain the germs of many parasites waiting for the fermentation needed for their life. It is a small world of microscopic beings that is dormant, waiting to be created. Basically, we are all made out of like yeast, and somehow we just grow.
Basically, you're gonna see further there. But the main point of this question is like when the living being is born spontaneously. That's a hard word to say. Like, then you go, it grows and says yes. But the original seed already exists in a dormant state. It's something there that is going to make this thing grow. And the example of the body, I think further on you're going to see, but thinking about when we die, right? The putrefaction, I think that's the name in English, putrefaction, something. It's somewhere. The compose of the body. So when we die,
putrefied.
Putrefied, something like this. It's the same in Portuguese. It's somewhere over here, you know. It's saying somewhere over here. I think it's over here. Okay, never mind. We'll see. And then these germs, they are in our body, but in a dormant state. So some of the little animals that eat our body comes from our body. It doesn't come from like the place that is gonna put us as a body, or somewhere just put something over there to eat our body when you die. No, it's our body. It's part of the earth, the entire thing, the entire nature. But our body has those things in a dormant state because we have to decompose at some point, right? And that's what happened. That's why they say the tissues of the human body and animals contain germs and many parasites. I'll try to remember this. Waiting for the fermentation. The fermentation of what? When we die, our body started fermenting, right? And then they were just waiting to renovate everything. So it happened, but they're already there. At somehow they're already there. They're the explanation, the point of this. So, I mean, nothing does nothing. You know, it has an explanation for that.
I feel like, do you know these movies? Like who watched the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Exterminator? How we call here the Terminator?
The exterminator, the
No, a Terminator.
Terminator.
So,
Okay.
do you remember the guy that always is running, like looking for him? That the guy is like made out of like iron, that he melts and
Yeah.
then he comes together.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that like every being in this world was basically like that. Like there's all these parasites, all this chemistry happening, and then they attract to themselves. And like depending what attract with what, something was created, you know? For example, like this kind of parasite with this kind of like bacteria got together and it was created like the monkeys, for example. And that kind of parasite, instead of bacteria with another, you know, fungus, for example, it was created a tree. And so goes on, you know, it depending of the attractions that had the chemistry that happened at that time, all the things was created on earth. That's how I see it. And the movie kind of showed that, because every time he comes up to life, it's like you see all the particles coming together and then boom, he was created. You know what I mean?
It's a good example. It's a very good example if you're thinking about it, the creation.
It is actually a good example.
Like
Yeah.
thinking about, yeah, I think that is the idea.
Yeah.
Things coming together and creating something. But what you just explained, that was the answer. I think from where did the living beings originate? You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's basically that. It is that, and we learn that. So the elements, when they come together, they create something.
Mm-hmm.
So things basically like this. Of course, we don't know as human beings yet all the elements on Earth and how things can create it. And one of the examples had the movie, I remember Jurassic Park, when they capture from a bug that existed on the dinosaurs' time, and this bug drink the blood from the dinosaur, were captured from a tree that has this, not this honey, this syrup or something, the syrup of the tree, something like this, and he got frozen there, fry, I think. And then after like thousands of years, they discovered that and tried to recreate the dinosaurs. It's kind of crazy thinking about it, but it's like when things come together. Of course, this was a human being doing but as nature does things. I think it's my turn, right? 47. Was the human species among the organic elements contained the earth? Now Kardec wants to know, and how about us? We are already there, and among the organic elements contained the earth and the spirits? Yes, and it arrived at the opportune moment. The saying that human beings were formed out of the dust of the earth is very much true. It's nice when they're gonna talking about Adam, but since we are kids, and people started talking about like the history in the Bible, and says, oh yes, the man came from the earth and those kind of things, and the Spirit says it's very much true, not in the analogy point of view, of course, in the fairy tales point of view, but if you're thinking about it, where we are before, where you were before, right? So yes, we are among the organic elements in the earth, and we are formed out of the dust. Well, they're gonna go on this explanation. Samantha?
Which one? 48?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we determine the time of appearance of humans and other living beings on Earth? No, all your calculations are illusion. Just like the formation. We don't know and we will not know, right?
Yeah, I know human beings have been there for 4 million years, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Your calculations are illusions. You guys don't know. So sometimes like if a scientist read this, are they gonna be very mad, or they're gonna be like, yes, we are like far from the answers. That's why after I think the 19th centuries, because the 19th century was a boom for science actually, but they starting like saying this is a theory. We can prove that, but it's a theory. That's basically more or less that time. And then you see this question, no, all your calculation are illusions. Okay, back to the beginning.
I just asked Google, when did the first human being appear on Earth? Google told me 7 million years ago. It's an illusion.
It's an illusion. But when, of course, you have to understand what they're talking about it. You know, they're talking about something more deep than just like studying, do some calculations. Because if you're really thinking about science, it's very new. It's something very new. You don't have science since the beginning. We have philosophy before science, and then science. I mean the scientific world, when they started putting like contents out there and trying to start proving things, is 18th centuries, 19th century, something like that. You know, we were getting there.
And like it's funny how to think that like how only on Earth has these like these junctions with all these bacteria, you know. It's hard to believe that in the other planets something like that is being happening as well, you know, but with different bacteria, different parasites, and different, you know, amoebas or whatever. So of course there's life out there too, you know what I mean? It's just different like components, you know, like things that we don't have on Earth. So that's why for sure there's life in other planets, you know. It's just not reachable to our science yet.
Yes, because even the elements that we have on Earth is not reachable. For like science doesn't know all the elements in the Earth. Imagine it out of the Earth. We don't know because we don't have like tools for that yet.
Yeah, for example, like Jupiter, they say, right, that for us there is formed out of gas, but God knows there might be parasites that can survive in gas, you know. So there's different kind of people there. We just cannot know, because if you go there we'll die because it's just gas, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I believe that we're going to talk about this in the next 2 chapters, probably like that. But this chapter already, the first chapter already said, or no, I think it's going to be further on when you're talking about matter. Or no, I think you talk about already, right? Matter. So what you understand about matter is not necessarily true. But let's keep like this, because matter is much more than you can touch, than you can see. For us, matter, when you go to school, what you learn? What does matter means? Matter means everything that we can solid, touch, see, feel, you know. But the nice thing is, if you Google it and try to see what science says, they're like open to discuss, to see, yes, maybe matter is not just like that. And when the spirit and when the spirits come inside, the spirit is a type of matter, but you guys can see and can touch, but it is matter. I'm like, okay, you still have to learn matter in different states and different worlds, and so on, so on, so on. I think it's me, right? 49. If the seeds of human species were among the organic elements on the earth, that's a good question too. Why is that human beings are not produced spontaneously today as they originally were? Because the point is, okay, they came spontaneously from the combinations of elements, boom, humans being there. But then they found out how to reproduce themselves, right? So why this now is like still happening nowadays? And the answer, the principle of things is one of God's secrets. Bang. For Kardec, bang. Okay, no answer for that. But nevertheless, it may be asserted that the first humans absorbed the elements necessary for the creation to transfer said elements according to the law of reproduction, just, as further on, you're going to learn more about this, but we were, as the spirit evolve, okay, and as long as we know from the spirits, when God creates the spirit, let's say that we do not reincarnated when you die and born again. We incarnated. Our first incarnation was not as humans. No. Everything evolved. So you were as a spirit in bodies, different bodies, material bodies. I'm saying that it was not human. That's why it said first humans, when they became humans, absorbed the element necessary for the creation to transfer according to the law of reproduction. They just evolve and understand the law of reproduction as the animals does. It's instinct. They say here, the same may be said in regard to all the different species of living beings. But the Spirit's book is the first book. They go deep and these explanations in other books as well. Not just Kardec's book, but yes, as well, the magazine is the Spirit magazine. And to understand, because if you just study the Spirit's book, you're not going to have like all the understanding about what you're talking about it. And plus science, you have to read science as well. It's very important. You still have like a lot of things in common. Samantha, where are you? It's your turn. Don't leave just yet. Your turn.
Can I just say something real quick about that question?
Of course.
So, when the kids ask, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Right.
I mean, it's so self-explained. God created all humans and God created all species, and then they absorb the elements for reproduction. Can we imagine if we didn't need the reproduction, if things were just humans were just appear, or the animals? I mean, it would be a chaos now, right? So
yes, when
it makes sense.
When we're starting on deep on this and start about the theory of Darwin, I think is the closest answer, that they got so far, which is already most of the science group say, no, that's absurd. But this kind of like the theory, it's like, otherwise not going to be monkeys in the world anymore, always going to be humans. But it's something close to that. We evolve as creatures in the world. The humans were not here since the beginning, but as a spirit, we were here since the beginning with the elements on earth, and we evolved as well as everything evolved. And then the first humans starting appearing, and then they evolved and find out about reproduction. But when we're talking about the first humans, we don't know what kind of first humans. We know humans from the cave times, which were already different. And we know by science that the body already evolved in size, in power and energy and all those kind of things. We are different from those humans in the beginnings. And we start, and you keep and evolve. What is the name of the teeth? We say the wisdom teeth, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the proof. Kids nowadays, they born without it. Our body don't need this anymore. And if you go and learn about this, the truth about this, you're going to start understanding, oh, because back there they need it because they have to hunt, they have to eat this and that. Our body's starting involved. And it's going to be this forever. And then at some point, everybody's going to be handsome and pretty. So. All right, so we still have time. Your turn, Samantha.
Did the human, what?
Oh, it's 50, right?
Yeah, 50.
Okay.
Did the human race begin with one man only? No, the man known as Adam was neither the first nor the only man who populated the earth.
Okay, read the 51, Samantha, because it's the complement.
Is it possible to determine when Adam lived? Adam lived approximately around the time that you attribute to him, about 4,000 years before Christ.
Okay, just stop.
Okay.
This is a Kardec explanation. All right, so.
Well, so Adam existed. I'm kind of relieved now.
Adam exists, but it's not like the way, because the way that the Bible, I mean,
God created Adam, and then
let's say the interpretation of the Bible, because the Bible is right actually. So people, they get things wrong. It's different. The way that people interpreted the Bible, they interpreted that like Adam and Eve was the first human beings, right? But Adam was a guy for sure, but it was not the beginning, the first one, and not the last, and not the last in the earth. And the Spirit says, as you guys attribute to him 4,000 years before Christ. But then has the explanation. Who is Adam, Eloah? Read there.
Adam's my husband.
Besides your husband.
The man that we refer to as Adam was one of the people who survived one of the great disasters that changed the Earth's surface over the course of history. He became the foundation of one of the races that populate our planet today. The laws of nature dictate that it would be impossible for the amount of progress that we know to have been accomplished by humanity long before Christ to have been accomplished so quickly if it had only existed since the time of Adam. Some have dubbed the story of Adam a myth or allegory personifying the earliest ages of the world, a belief that currently stands as the most reasonable. So basically, he existed, of course, but he was a survivor of a disaster that happened on Earth. Oh, that's nice. I didn't know this.
Well, if you go, of course, now I have Google.
Sue?
It's gone.
I am gone.
Now you're back.
I can still hear you guys. Are your internet
No,
correct?
now you're back. Now we
Yeah,
can hear you.
I just received the message. Your internet connection is unstable.
ah,
Wait, you have 10 more minutes. So if you go and not in the spiritism size, but if you go to history size and see those science that study history, guess what? They came up to same answer after this book. After this book, because those geology, I think, so, I don't know, where's the Americans here today to help us? Anyway, based on the studies that they had, because okay, who is Adam? Who is that guy that the Bible says? And they knew by the time that the interpretation was wrong, and you go deep further and further to understand, it was a guy. And the Bible says that. The Bible says about other cities, about other areas in the globe by the time it says, but the interpretation, it's wrong. And all the time that I'm thinking about the Bible interpretation, I remember what Eloah's sister-in-law said to her. When you asked her about like the protein bar, remember?
Yeah,
She said, what is such a thing? But imagine like in a Jesus time, Hebrew, speaking Hebrew, it's not such a thing, but the composition of the words, they get along with the time. And then you have to put like, you know, more words together to translate those kind of words, and we don't have it by the time.
And this is because she speaks Hebrew. Can you imagine Aramaic? Can you imagine Aramaic, which is like way older than Hebrew?
Yeah,
so it's way worse.
Yeah, it's a dialect that doesn't exist anymore. And Hebrew came from Aramaic. So if you're thinking about that and you go deep, then you're going to study deep those kind of things. Of course, not going to have all the answers, but at least you're going to make questions about it and see that doesn't make sense. Just one guy on the earth and one lady on the earth, that's going to make sense. But yeah, by history, it's kind of like that. It was a guy. And that's why they put his as a myth, or it says here, not have been accomplished so quickly and exist time and some the dirty story of a myth. And I believe current stand as the most reasonable. Was one guy there, but yes, as we understand, and has lectures, books about this a lot on YouTube as well that you can just talking about it. This is very interesting because that's one of the things that people nowadays they make questions about this, like Luisa has a channel on YouTube, so talking about this is it's very nice. And you know, Luisa knows a lot about the Bible because she studies this. It's very nice the way that she explains those kind of things and makes like easier to understand. And if you have like, you know, you just put your brain to work a little bit and start making questions, you're gonna see a bunch of nonsense. And that's it. We still have 8 minutes, Samantha. So yeah, I will stop it here because I believe that this part of her here.
Oh my goodness, next week is September already.
Right? Why, because of the weather?
No, because I remember I have to do the schedule for next month already.
Oh, true. I will stop recording. I have to tell you something in a second. Okay, yeah. Then we're going to start diversity of the human race, 52. There you go. Okay, Samantha, Eloah, anybody do a final praise? No, I'm gonna be me.
It's gonna be impossible to have peace because my kids are being a little loud. I keep putting on mute.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So let's relaxing our body, our minds, our soul, our hearts. Let's thank for all the teaching that was explained here today, all the words that were exposed here today, for a better knowledge, for a better understanding of the creation of our world, creation of a race, and then to feed our curiosity, to always get to know more and more, to always understand what our world is about, what our life is about, why we are here. And once you start looking up, searching, we start becoming better people. We start having better charity and animosity with everybody that we are surrounded with. Not only the family, not only friends, but everyone, all the creation to this world, the nature, the animals, everything that we have on this world. And be blessed and be thankful for being here right now with everybody that we are. So then we can evolve our spirits, evolve our souls, and try to be a better person day by day. Thank you for the presence of all of you here. Thank you for the spiritual world that is always guiding us, always protecting us, always blessing us with everything that happens in our lives. And so be it.
You are mute.
I will mute. So have a great night, everyone. So I'm going to stop recording, then I'm going to ask you something, Laura.